So, what's up?
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nico de Gallo Show. Today's episode is gonna be about dialect leveling, which is actually kind of a bummer, but I think it's very important to talk about and I'd like to bring it up. Dialect leveling is when two dialects of the same language start to become more similar to each other. This is a result of several factors. Currently in the world, there's about 6,000 to 7,000 different languages spoken, but estimates say that by the time the current generation of youngsters grow up, get old, and die, there's only gonna be about 3,000 languages left. But why? A big contributing factor to the standardization of a certain language is just that, having a standard. That dialect, which gets chosen as the standard, becomes taught in schools, shown in radio and television and film, and people start to think that's the way I should talk. Education plays a huge role. In India, there are a bunch of languages spoken. However, it's becoming a more common practice for people to send their children who are from a rural village where they speak a language that's only spoken there or in that area to boarding schools. And in these boarding schools, they're taught Hindi, and they're also taught that they should feel ashamed for speaking the way they do in this rural dialect or language. They stop speaking that. They don't teach it to their kids, and then the language is gone. You can still speak a rural language that's seldom used or a dialect that's considered uneducated and still be highly educated, very intelligent. Just because somebody talks like this and they're from the Appalachian Mountains doesn't mean that they're dumb. That's just how they speak. If certain places that spoke specific dialects of a language were their own country, that might be a different story. Arabic is a widespread language used in many countries. However, because of the fact that each of these countries has its own national boundaries, a lot of them retain their own various dialects of Arabic, despite there being a standardized form that's supposedly used across all of these countries. Same thing with Spanish. It's spoken in 20-something countries, and even though they all speak the same language, they maintain their own dialect of that language because that is the dialect that was given prestige in that country and is taught in schools and used in films and television. However, in the current age of information where globalization is a real thing, people who live in South America and speak Spanish can watch television programs from Spain. And this contact between all these various different dialects of the same language can also result in dialect leveling despite them having a nationally used dialect. There's also a debate about whether we should have more languages or whether it's for the best that a lot of them are dying. Some people consider this to be more pragmatic to have fewer languages in the world because that way you can understand more people in more countries and places and stuff like that. I'm not gonna pick a side because I do see the pragmatism in speaking fewer languages across the world. At the same time, as a linguist, I do think every language is beautiful and interesting in its own way, and I do like that we have that kind of variety around the world, so it's kind of a split.
This week's word of the week is SALAAM. Salam is a borrowing from Arabic and means peace, and can also be used as a salutation to greet somebody, as it is in many Islamic countries. As a nod to the Semitic roots that Arabic shares with Hebrew, its cognate in Hebrew is shalom, which also means peace and likewise can be used as a salutation when you say hi and see somebody. That was this week's word of the week. If you have any other ideas or words that you think are really cool and would like me to talk about, I would love to. Go ahead and leave it in the comments down below, and hopefully I get to it in a upcoming episode. Salam!
Thank you so much for watching. Camera work is done by my friend Peter VanLoo. If you like the music, you will find links to their information in the description down below. Please help make my dreams come true by hitting the like button and the subscribe button because I need you. You can check out my Patreon and you can sign up to do donations, and for certain amounts that you donate, there are certain prizes, so it'd be super cool if you check that out. But they're not sexy prizes, I'm sorry.
Did you think the salam bit at the end was weird?
No.